All right, so we're going to be working on writing equations from word problems, and we're going to be doing the worksheet that I gave you, the one that's called Writing and Solving Two-Step Equations Word Problems WS.pdf. Okay? All right, so what I'm more interested in, other than the answer, I'm more interested in you writing an equation for this. Okay, so the first one says 331 students went on a field trip. Okay? 6 buses were filled and 7 students traveled in cars. How many students were in each bus? Okay, so when you read a problem, you have to read it more than once because I want you to really picture what's going on. Okay, it's a story. If you put yourself in the story, you understand it better. So let's say you're in this thing. So 331 students went on a field trip. So picture yourself going on a field trip. 6 buses were filled, so picture those 6 buses over there behind the school where they would pick you up. And then 7 students traveled in cars. Okay, so 7 went in cars. So everybody jumping on the bus except for those 7 kids. They're getting in cars. How many students were in each bus? Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do on my board or on your paper, which you should be writing all this down also, is I'm going to pull out all the numbers. So I have a 331. I have a 6, and always look for the ones that are in words, okay? Because 6 is it's not written in numerical form, it's written as a word. And then I have a 7, and then it says how many students, so that's an X, okay? So that's a variable. If you want to put X or R or S or happy face, whatever, but that's a variable, okay? So I have all my numbers, and now I'm going to define what each one means. So 331, that's my total students or total kids. Okay, so you should be writing this down. 6 is the number of buses, so I'm just going to put buses. 7 is kids that went in cars, so I'm just going to put car kids. Okay, so those kids did not ride on buses because they're in cars. And then X is the number of kids per bus. So I'm going to put that kids per bus. Okay, so just looking at this, what I just wrote down, what? Okay, hold on, okay? Let me just finish the recording. All right, so just by looking at this, I should be able to tell the whole story, okay? So this whole story is that we have 331 total kids, and we have 6 buses, and we have 7 kids that rode in cars, and we're looking for X, which is the kids per bus. Okay, so now I need to put this whole story into an equation. And it's called an equation because it has an equal sign. So I'm going to go ahead and put my equal sign. Let's go ahead and change up the colors. All right, so let's put that. Okay, so I have my equal sign. All right, so the first thing I need to find out is where does this story end? Okay, so this story ends with total kids. It's always going to end in your total. Okay, so that one, it's going to equal to that because that's everybody. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and scratch that off because I'm done with that one. Okay, so now I'm left with the 6, the 7, and the X, or the buses, the car kids, and the kids per bus. Well, right away I can tell that these two are going to go together because they both have bus. Okay? So what are we going to do with the 6 and the X? Well, let's see. We have kids per bus and buses. And I know from teachers pounding this in my head that per always means multiplication. Okay, so I'm going to multiply those two. So I'm just going to put them stuck together because that means multiplication, 6x. So that gets rid of this one, and that gets rid of this one. And now I'm just left with a 7. So I'm going to put that right there. Let's put it in red. So 7 goes right there. So now I need to find out what the heck we do in here. Well, we're trying to get to a total, and usually when we find a total, we're adding. But in this case, are we adding? Well, let's see. 6 times x, that's 6 buses and all the kids in each bus. And 7 are the car kids. So yeah, we are adding because we're putting them all together to come up with our total of 331. Okay? So that is how you write an equation from a word problem. So now from here, we should be able to tell the whole story. I have 331 total kids, And to get there, I have 6 buses with X kids per bus, plus the 7 that didn't go on the bus, that went in the cars. So all these combined are going to give us 331 total kids. Okay?